Hello, this is a video about how to replace the elastic on fitted sheets. You might want to do that if the elastic has gone bad. First of all, this method is not for use when the thread is actually going through the elastic. If you wanted to replace that, you'd have to do a new elastic on the top like that, or turn it over and make a channel and pull the elastic through it, which is sort of complicated. So this is not about that. First of all, what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut right at the end of the elastic here, I am going to cut a hole in this channel, and I'm going to be careful not to actually cut where the thread is, because it would tend to come loose and I'd have to sew that shut. You know, I don't really care if there's an extra hole on the sheet here. When you make this little cut, be careful to only cut the fabric and don't actually cut through the elastic, because if you cut through the elastic to begin with, it'll pull into this channel and you'll have a hard time getting it out again. And I just want to be able to get to the elastic that's inside there. Okay, so now I can get to that elastic. I'm going to use like a screwdriver or a scissor to pull the elastic out a little bit. And as you'll notice, if this elastic were actually sewn to the fabric, you wouldn't be able to do this. So this is only in the case where the elastic is nice and loose like this. So what you want to do is to, like in this case, it's sewn off on this end, so I'll cut it off right there. If it were going through the whole side, you'd want to cut it off and keep a hold of both ends. Maybe pin one end off while you're working on the other end. But I'm just going to cut this, so now I have this here. And what I can do now, I am going to sew the new elastic to this end. See, this is the new elastic. I'm going to just do a temporary sewing them together right there. And then I'm going to go to the other end of the sheet. I'm going to cut a hole right there. And I'm going to take that elastic, cut the elastic, and I'm going to pull it through here. I'm going to pull the old elastic out, and at the same time it's going to pull the new elastic in. So that's my little easy way of doing it. And once I have the new elastic in there, I just need to pull it to the right amount of tightness, depending on how much flex I want, and sew the new elastic on this end, and sew off the other end on this, and it'll be done. Okay, so now I have sewn the new elastic to the old elastic. Doesn't have to be anything fancy. I'm going to end up cutting it off, this section off at the end anyway. And on the other end of the channel here, I have cut another hole, and I've pulled this elastic out. Now what I'm going to do is start pulling this here, and hopefully it'll pull the new elastic through. Now I'm going to push this new elastic through just in case it has trouble getting in there. There. And then it starts coming through. And you want to make sure that the end of this elastic doesn't disappear in there. Oh, there we go. We got the new elastic all the way through. Now I can cut the old elastic off. Discard that. And pin this to one end. So then what I basically do is grab hold of the other end, see how tight I want this. Put more in or pull it tighter. So that might be good. Then what I do is pin the other end off. basically, when you're satisfied, you'd sew both of these ends, cut off the rest of the elastic, use the rest for the other side of the sheet, and then you're done. So there, see, I've sewed both sides off. Nothing fancy, just sewed it off messy. Doesn't matter, it's not going to be seen anyway on the bed.